Did we need the thrill to be happy? Nothing does I feel the love now, don't we? We'll go on. Eventually, what goes up must come down.
miss the family I used to have. I feel like everything's so different now. Sitting by the fire as we'd watch the flames burn out. I miss the days I wasn't afraid. Now I always have my guard up, hands on my face. I learned to cope with the pain. I know that people think I'm trying to get attention, but in reality I'm trying to send a message. I know there's kids out there that are going through the same thing, and if you're one of them, I hope to help your suffering. Just know it will get better, and these feelings do not stay the same. No, they don't stay the same. I don't wanna make you feel bad, but you kinda ruined my life. You hurt me and ruined my life.
Good evening everyone, welcome for the season finale. We are here at Oulton Park for the season finale of the Rookie series. For tonight it's going to be both the Tier 1 and Tier 2 in the Rookies to be joining us for the race, as it's going to be, I think, a bit of a night race in game. And I hope everything works correctly. That's why my volume was down. As I was saying, we are here for 20 minutes because both Tier 1 and Tier 2 are together in the lobby. So it means that we are going to see the first 10 minutes of qualifying being held by the lower tier of cars, and the other 10 will be directed to the faster ones, theoretically, and should be okay. Now it works. Okay, now it's better. So Oulton Park, what it has to be said about this track? Well, it's awful. That's pretty much it. I really don't think this track should be eligible for GT3 racing for a good amount of reasons, but it's just me. I just find this track too dangerous, difficult to overtake, not funny, boring, ugly, terrible in every single corner. I think only 15 cars can stay on the track safely without creating incidents. It's too narrow, you can't go side by side, and the list goes on. But anyway, I really think that this track is useful for GT4, and that's it. That's the maximum speed you can aim for, and GT3s are too fast for this track. But that's just my opinion. For tonight we're going to race, and it's going to be 32 cars, and I'm really hoping, I'm not looking forward, I'm really hoping nothing happens. But I know the second something happens is going to be a pile-up. But anyway, Woodward sets the first time at lap of the evening, 34.8 being set by Kane in the number 1 in the 77, sorry, BMW. And the situation is that I don't have a clue which is a good time here, because I raced once in my life, and it was so much time ago I can't even remember. So for tonight I'm going to be quite full of information. I never raced here. Maybe I will this evening for the Porsche, with the Porsche Cup, but even there I don't know if I want. It's like well, that's also me being a bit I just a bit too much radical. I never drove in Snetterton either. Not a lap. I saw a BMW going somewhere. It was Gateman going into the wall. We'll not see it, how it ended. And the traffic coming up. Seems like Claessens is having a bit of a rough time with a McLaren in front of him. And for tonight it's going to be 33 drivers, both tier 1 and tier 2 being glued together. It's going to be, I think, 14 cars of tier 1 and the remaining is tier 2, or the opposite. That was a bit trying to understand the numbers. For now, 666 is on pole with his livery, which is quite fashionable livery, I would say. What is it? Is it a... Okay, I understood what it is. I can't remember the name, but I understood what it is referring to. But anyway, for now, that 34.3 is the current pole lap, with Broughton behind the BMW and Kane at 77 in P3. It is Woodward improving, having a nice improvement. He's currently 5 times quicker, so he will go into 5th place, considering that the relative time between the two drivers is around 5 times, more or less. That was a bump, quite clear from the loud up and down the engine head over the curb. At 999 still improving on his time. Sparks flying by from the curb, and it's going to be, I think, an improvement, it's for sure. Not certainly an improvement for position, and not even an improvement, because apparently the final curb kinda ruined everything, and this means that it's not even an improvement, but it is for Kane, which goes 150 away from pole, tied with Broughton in the other BMW. Apparently the BMW here is a good car, and the Honda, as always, is the very best of the ACC lineup. In every situation, the Honda is effectively the game changer. Still 3 minutes to go for the class to go. Set the lap time, and Claessens, the Dutch driver, goes in pole 8 times in pole, setting a 33.640 with Broughton that is kinda improving, now slightly under the 2/10 mark, as you can see from the left of the screen, where you can see the leaderboard and the different gap and improvements. A good chunk of cars still improving on the lap. And for now, all the sectors seems to be held. No, not all. Broughton seems to be the best one in the 3rd sector, and the other 2 sectors are completely over the Honda hands. But I think Broughton will be, in fact, he has been held by Gedman, and this puts him out of contention for an improvement. Improvement that Smith seems to be having, the 45 Aston Martin. That will put him at least in 4th, ahead of one of the 3 BMW. This is a Honda going completely away. It's Roberts in the 44 McLaren. And Smith won't even improve, because apparently the very last section was completely destroyed by the driver in front of him, and now even this lap is done, and I think the qualifying is over altogether. So Smith qualifying is effectively over. Same goes for Cameron, Watt, Burns, and Wappenaar, with still a good chunk of cars in contention, but not one of them seems to be having 8 times of gap. 8 at the very least, considering Broughton has 5, Kane has 4, 3.5, and he's also quite ahead in the lap. In fact, he's in the last corner. 23 at Lodge Corner. And then turn 17, and he goes in second, provisional second position, 4 times away from pole, qualifying effectively over for Kane. And Broughton seems to be very close to pole, but it doesn't seem to be enough. 640, unless last corner is completely revolutionized line, which it doesn't appear to be happening. He will at least improve his time in the position 2, so he goes back in second, and Broughton is effectively second in class, with Claessens effectively gaining the pole position and also practicing the pit lane by doing so. 989 currently 4th with 6 laps in 4th place, never mind. 922 away from pole, and there is Smith, Woodward, Bro, Cameron, Blake, Hill, Watt, Lopez, Burns, Roberts, and Wappenar, completing your 16 driver tier 2 rookies. And it's now time for tier 1 rookies, with a very good amount of cars. There are actually 18 tier 2, but only 16 managed to set a time. This puts 15 tier 1 cars, with all the usual name we see all around. This is Nigel London already made a mistake some way or another, or a contact. I'm seeing there is a contact actually. 328. Has there been a contact? Okay, there has been a contact. Yep, that's the reason why London is already over in the pit, and it's been a contact with number 14, which was Lopez, probably finishing the lap and making contact with the McLaren. We're going with Javier Gonzalez for the moment, as I want to see if or better, which battle is still ongoing for either the lead or everything, because I need the standings. Okay, so effectively Gonzalez is now the leader, considering his well, what was the obvious leader of the championship in the 883 Honda has been set off from the rookies. I think he has been put either to pros, or he just went away from the championship altogether. As to see here if Giacomo Tessera. Okay, so Giacomo Tessera doesn't seem to be existing anymore for some reasons in the standings. Not really sure why, but for now this means that Javier Gonzalez is the leader of the championship, with 30 points of difference from Federico Ingrosso. So extreme surprises apart, which puts Gonzalez as DNF and okay, no, he's not even in the lobby, so I think it's a bit difficult for Ingrosso to being a problem for Gonzalez' lead, as he goes also as the leader of qualifying and tops the qualifying session with a 33.5, 58 milliseconds in front of Claessens, but this puts the rookie tier 1 in Gonzalez' hand already, so he will be effectively the winner of the championship. So that's already official, because Luca Mari is just too far away at this point, and effectively the only 30 points of difference is not even a problem to maintain, considering the opponent is not here, because Ingrosso is not racing tonight, so Gonzalez is effectively your first winner of the week, of the evening. Winning the tier 1, I wonder the tier 2, because I never effectively had them. And it is Claessens with 33 points of difference to Kane. So John Claessens really needs to just exist at this point. So championship wise I don't think there will be any battle, as Chris Jones went in third. This magnificent black and purple livery. Black and pink. Luca Mari goes in 6th. And quite a good chunk of cars being a bit mixed with the tier 2 rookies. As the night approaches even more, Mihai goes in 6th. So Zilio and Onden 14th and 15th with Stewart, Chiaramonte, Brown, Romagnolo, and then all the others having some issues, even setting a lap time. So again, I think Gonzalez is not really struggling for position. It's going to be an hour of racing for the final round, 60 minutes, all with a single pit window being held from the 20 to go from the start to 20 to go. 20 minutes of length for the pit window, as usual rules for this kind of events. Sun is completely set during these final minutes of qualifying, freeze to go, and it doesn't seem like any particular, well, apart from Chiaramonte that jumps a whole second and goes just in 15th though, with the tier 2 drivers that seems to be giving a bit of a lesson to the tier 1. Only 3 drivers in Alpha, 4 drivers in Alpha second, and it's 9 in 1 second, so a bit of gap being created during this qualifying session. 2 to go, so I think 2 laps at best for all the drivers. As Chiaramonte approaches the very final chicane, but I think Chris Jones is about there to maybe set a pole lap, as Thompson goes in 10th and Zilio goes in 10th too. And I think it's possible, not only possible, but a reality. And Chris Jones goes in pole, 33.567 for the Polish driver that concludes his qualifying also. So he just has to hope that the 15 milliseconds of difference between him and Gonzalez are just enough to give him the pole for the final round. Chris Jones in the standings is only in 17th, with some terrible rounds in the beginning, and towards the end seems like a bit of a redemption arc, with a couple of good results, an 8th and 2 4th place, and for tonight a pole has also appeared. But for now, Gonzalez is going to have his last qualifying lap of the season in the championship, and as a rookie, because he will be instantly promoted as a pro when he will cross the line at the final lap. But it doesn't seem to be improving. 4 times already off. Mihai is improving, only 1/10, but it will be enough for at least a 5th place. The Aston. So effectively, unless Gonzalez can magically go 6/10 faster, I think Chris Jones has the pole in his hands without further difficulty being applied. Long then goes in 12th and completes the qualifying. Thompson is not improving, not really. Seems like pretty much Mihai is the only one that is improving the lap. And with his rhythm, he may as well go into 5th. Doesn't seems to be happening, maybe? As he goes 17 milliseconds faster. And he doesn't even join the less than 6/10 club. He goes 6/10 off the pole with Zilio that is still lapping, but without a valid lap. In terms of improvement. Final corner. Turn 16. Then it's going to be the finish line after the deer leap. And this is your effective qualifying being over. So out for the standing, and we have Chris Jones with his first pole position, I think ever. Give me that again. I think his first ever pole position. If I'm not 100% sure, but I'm quite sure he never did a pole. But anyway, the 33 drivers are going to start in a very nighty and dark Oulton Park, just to add trouble to the fact that this track is not made for... Wait. Ah, okay, that's why. It's not made for night racing, as you can see from here. The track is completely dark, and with zero is terrible. At least make it 87. Okay, way better. But anyway, as always, little track map of the track, even if I can't really be seeing anything. So we have turn 1 and Old Hull corner. This is literally here. On the outside you can gain easily a track penalty. And remember, you just have 3, otherwise it's a drive-through, even if the drive-through here is just, I think, 10 seconds of penalty. Then into Denton's Cascades. This one here, long left-hander. And you try to use all the grass from the outside. I would like to add some overtake hotspots, but I just think they don't exist. It's going to be a long train for the race tonight in a completely dark Oulton. Left-hander here, Island Bend, and then 5, which is a Shell Oil Corner, which apparently I'm literally trying to see. It's so dark. And then Britain's 7 to 9. This section here, you usually try to break somewhere. Okay, there is the red pillar. And there you just try to cut as much as possible to try to get to gain as much time as possible on the little hilltop, which is the longest straight of the whole track, and it's about 500 meters. Then the second chicane, he slopes. All the way around into a right, left, right, Kinkerbrook, City Hall, up his section under the bridge. There is the only light of the whole track, and seems like a Christmas decoration. The only light that there is. 14, then 15, which is Water Tower, very original, I guess. famous Druid's Corner. And then it's Warwick Bridge. This very low part that goes all along the back straight. And then there is Lodge Corner, which is the last one. And here is usually the only place where you try an overtake, but the outside is bunked towards the inside a little bit, so you just don't lose too much time. And then over the finish line with a car that seems like having some issues. I can't seem to understand which number that is. But it was a track of a completely dark track. It's going to be 60 minutes of adventure, considering how much I'm seeing, which is not enough. I saw a car in the pits. It was Gateman in the 79 already in the pits, and there was a Porsche being stuck. Not really sure why. Is there some water? No, it's not there. I forgot the water. Anyway, so for now we'll go with Chris Jones, 792 Honda, being the leader of the 33 cars, now 32 considering one being in the pits. You can see the minimap on the right of your screen. Oh, someone else is in the pits now. It was a Busset having some trouble at the beginning, and she has been sent into the pit lane for said reasons. So now it's 31 on the grid, with 2 in the pits that will start later on. There is a reason you got banned. It's not like people ban for no reason. You probably got said why somewhere. But anyway, I need this one here, and I need the helicam as always. So we'll go from 4th place, which is Broughton's position, the PMV number 156, and we are going to be close to the start of the race, with Claessens being a bit cheeky on the start, and Chris Jones being a bit sleepy, already losing a position. It's green light and away we go, but Chris Jones has a good start, a better start compared to Gonzalez. He stays on the inside, with Gonzalez having some trouble maintaining the line, but no problem whatsoever. Meanwhile, behind Broughton and Kane, having a little bit of a fight, but nothing too bad happens. Seems like many of the drivers have had a clean start. Maybe all of them. No, never mind, because there has been clearly some trouble in the back end, but no issues whatsoever. So for now, Jones and Gonzalez being first and second, then Claessens, Broughton, Kane, not really losing positions. And there is Mihai, Zilio, Mari, Hill and Thompson conclude your top 10, but there has been an incident behind for some reasons. We'll see them after the race. For now, Gonzalez and Jones still one after the other. You can clearly see here. For now, the situation seems to be quite clear. Meanwhile, Mari and Zilio seems to be having a bit of a chase, one after the other. And all the cars seems like no major incidents whatsoever. There's been some contact. We saw from the beginning, from the very beginning. Oh, there is a 3 wide there, 2 wide now, and not even 2 wide because the Porsche of Burns has made overtake on Lopez. There was an Aston Martin trying there. But anyway, it's Mihai making the position. I saw the BMW going wide, but it's Mihai making the position on car number 77. So Mihai makes the position for his class. Remember that the two different class means that they are effectively racing in two different races. As you can see, the BMW there, it's Kane going a bit wide, not making contact with the other tier 1 rookie. As Chiaramonte made some contact, some heavy contact with the wall, and there was another car going wide. So there's been a contact between Chiaramonte and an Aston Martin, but I'm not entirely sure who that was. Completely blinded by the wall, going over the wall. There is also Roberts that I was seeing having some trouble. And the first victims of the wall are already being found. With now Gonzalez still behind, very close to Jones. He goes on the inside and tries to overtake the Honda driver, but outbreaks himself, and now Claessens also has a chance to make it for the position, with Chris Jones having now the fastest lap of the race so far. There's also Kane, maybe thinking about a possible overtake for the 7th place overall. Yeah, I think I have some time to go look at a very early incident that seems to have happened to 64 and 74. Oh, there has been a Porsche making contact with Aston Martin in front of him and then collecting some cars. Meanwhile, there's also been an incident just now. Not an overtake. It was 6 ups making it over the Audi. Doesn't seem to be any reason. Okay, he showed me an incident. Not sure which one, but the Audi seems to be struggling a bit for traction, considering what happened. Oh, Gonzalez and Jones. There seems to be something has happened. 792. It doesn't show me any. It doesn't show me any incident, nor an overtake. Well, I was looking at least. So apparently both Jones and Gonzalez made a mistake somewhere, and now Claessens is the leader of the race all of a sudden. With Broughton following by. And quite disappointed because it's not showing me anything here from the 792 and 216. For now, Claessens will have the lead of the race in his hands. We brought on behind the Gonzalez. There's been a contact with a wall. There seems to be Hopkins also. Oh, more contact. The thing is that all the contact seems to be happening in different sides of the racetrack at the same moment. So not really having a good time with the timing. I'm seeing that there has been an incident from the race control. So the reason is to be put on the Aston Martin train inside and just collecting the Ferrari after then. Christian is now trying the overtake on Gonzalez on the inside in turn 1. And Zelio is now the fastest lap holder, 34.9 from the 6th place he is currently racing. So again, Gonzalez having some trouble. He was in the grass, I think he was, and this puts Chris Jones in third place, now back in the podium at the very least. But he has to make 4 seconds to get at least to P2 and then P1 with Longden now over the wall with massive damage on the front of his car and suspension also. Is also Rick Kane that is a bit buffered with the other classmates, I would say, with Broughton being in P2 several seconds in front and having 5 seconds of gap between him and 6 ups in fourth place in class. But Mihai is not on track anymore, he's on the grass, he didn't collect the wall. But clearly he's having some troubles in 2015, 2016 also. I think he collected some damage somewhere. So effectively he has some damage. It's quite clear, so already in the pits for the Aston Martin that seems to be effectively having some damage on the car. I thought he didn't go over the wall. Apparently he clearly did. Now he is also going to repair the car and is save what is savable from the race. Same fate seems to be for Longden, now in 26th place, but he will clearly fall down the stairs even more, considering the damage he had at the hairpin. I think he collected the grass on the outside, and then everything fell apart. Everything fell apart in a matter of a couple of seconds. Seems like Gonzalez is really striking a lot of traction. As Gonzalez is now 2 seconds away from Jones, and he is currently having another position being eaten away. It's Zilio on the inside, and we are seeing on the distance there was Thompson overtaking Mari. So Thompson is now in 7th place. Gonzalez still trying to defend the 4th, but Zilio on the other Aston seems to be having more. In terms of lap time, seems to be Claessens the fastest of the 3. So 666 having a very nice race until now. While Jones is 5 seconds away from Broughton, Gonzalez is 3.3, and then there is a little train going all the way until P8, with Mari concluding it. You can see here from effectively Mihai, which is not really fighting for a position, as the 74 is finding himself not in a correct direction. Seems like the wall, and it's not really the correct place to be for Scott Cameron, having troubles in his car early on during the race. Yes, this time it seems like Chris Jones made a mistake. First, the race control doesn't show me whether or not a person makes a mistake. It just shows me if there is contact. 77 goes a bit on the curb. He finds some difficulties keeping the car in a straight line for a couple of moments, but then he finds himself back in the train. It's interesting to see how Jones is kind of losing the pace after the initial good time he was having. Gonzalez is now 1.3 away from the podium. Remember that effectively they are lapping for their class, so Jones is still winning in his own class. It's not overall. Claessens is winning overall. Claessens that theoretically is a class lower. So we have a lower class currently winning the overall class. And seems like Gonzalez is having a terrible time at the moment. He lost several positions. He is now in 8th. After going wide, so I think I found the issue for the majority of the drivers that were having troubles. As Brown, you see from the white and orange car, overtakes Gonzalez, is also having another possible position. No, not really. So Gonzalez is the last one of the first train of cars. Not even in the train anymore, as there is 1.8 seconds of difference, or 2 seconds of difference between him and the cars in front, and Six Ups managed to get his position. So top 10 at the very least. Overall top 10 for the Spanish currently rookie champion. So I just think that this race is mostly a keep it together kind of one for the Spanish driver, with Wappen are having some troubles. Yellow flag being shown by his car. It doesn't seem to be any major problem for now. As the leader is having yellow flags, and Broughton goes away with it. But the Claessens had a major spin. He was in the lead of the race. He is now in 2nd. That's the reason he went wide. Just enough to give away his 1st and 2nd position. You can see Claessens is now in 3rd with Brown that makes the position on Mari. So Brown having a very good start. 6th position being gained until now. Bro managed to gain 9. Romagnolo managed to gain 12, 14 for Wappenaar, and 15 for Hopkins. In terms of position being gained, seems like this track is not really having an issue with it. So Jones is now in 2nd overall and 1st in class. Claessens is now in 2nd in class and 3rd overall. And Broughton is the leader of both class and overall. As Mari seems to be gaining back the position on Brown. That was for the 7th overall and 4th in class. Seems like Oulton Park is oddly not boring. I thought to be seeing way less overtakes. During the duration of the race. But for now it's been a very nice race. It's been 15 minutes of up and downs in terms of positions for all the different drivers. So Jones now goes for his personal best 35.250. Luca Mari goes for 35 flat, literally 0.0000. And Six Ups went a 34.550, nearly the quickest race lap of the whole session. For now the situation seems to be standing here as the P2 Class 1 driver is chasing the former leader of the race. Now seems to be that his pace has completely fell after the issue he had in turn number 15. So it seems like turn number 15 is really the worst possible corner of the whole track. Several issues and cars being thrown away from their position. Now Thompson very close to the car in front. You can see how close he is. He also has to brake. Battle of BMW, 77 against 55. And now 55 against 46, with Mari very close to the car in front. You were hearing the tires screeching to have some traction. Luca Mari goes on the inside. Well, tries to find a way, but nothing has been found. So the 55 remains ahead of the 46 and behind the 77. So again, seems like Zilio has lost a couple of times from Claessens, who gained 0 from the cars in front of him. He actually lost 3 times from the cars in front of him, and now Chris Jones is very close to be back to the lead of the race, as Oulton had a contact with the car number 79. So that's the reason why the Honda is very close, so close. I think there's not been any contact. Never mind. Now Claessens, I think that was Gateman. Yes, this was the 79. It was Gateman being a bit of in the middle, so there has been a contact between the two drivers. Broughton and Jones having a little bit of a touch, but nothing too much. As Jones is having some issues. Brown is also having some issues. I think he went into the wall. Can you see back what happened? So he goes in the right. It doesn't go on the right. He goes on the gravel. It doesn't go on the wall at least. He maintains the car in one piece, but in 9th place. Meanwhile here you can see from the wing it's a 77. Maybe trying to find a space for him. So Chris Jones has a terrible lap. He lost 3 seconds in a single round. As I think at this point it's a good idea to go into Jones' wing, as the pit window is now open for 20 minutes. So this means it's 39 minutes to go. As you see, some yellow flag, it's ready. It's again Brown going straight through the corner. And same goes for Gonzalez in 10th, following behind. It's effectively a missed break. Missed braking, but no problem again for, well, this time the two drivers. Last time round it was Jones being the slowest. This time it was Kane, as Mari is the first of the field to go into the pits. Same goes for Gonzalez. He chooses to go for a little journey into the pits. It's possibility to... Oh, Claessens is off! Claessens is off over the grass. And Six Up managed to gain the position. Clearly missed completely the apex of the corner. I think it was turn number 3. It was like a cascade. But I was seeing a car going a bit sideways in terms of positioning. I just couldn't understand if it was a back marker. I thought it was a back marker, and instead it was the third place car. As Roberts in the 44 having some terrible damage to his car. Something has happened here. Again in the same corner. He clipped the curb and then went completely over the wall. Then into the pits he goes. I'm quite surprised by Claessens. He was having a very nice run. Then all of a sudden something happened that broke the equilibrium. Don't know why he said equilibrium. I just like it as a word. Burns overtakes Hopkins for 13th place. From the outside. Very nice move, to say the least. And the Porsche Rowley Burns now in 13th place. The car number 51. And the leader is over the grass. So this puts Jones back into the lead of the race. Bruton is now in 6th place. Oh, he made some contact with someone. He made some contact with... Was it Chris Jones? It was a 74. So it was Scott Cameron being there. And I thought him making contact with 1656. And also with Chris Jones that had to complete the cars across the chicane. But at the very least he is back into the lead with Zilio following by. And Kane now in 3rd place overall, but leader of the class. So class 2 having a new leader, it's 77 BMW. There is also battling for the championship with Claessens. Claessens that needs, I think it was 36 points, so not really having some trouble in his championship. For now, there is a very mix of cars. There is just a handful of cars in the top. There are 3 cars only, 4 cars in the pro class, in the class 1, sorry. Rookie, while the class 2 has a lot more members in the very top 10. With Jones, Zilio and Thompson being in the podium of the usual lobby that we see. But this time it's Mari Williams, Gonzalez, Mihai, Stewart, London and Bortoli, Hungary, chiaramente all of them in the very bottom of the field. Seems like the class 1 and class 2 having a switcheroo in terms of importance in track. With the green number plates having less people compared to the red ones on track, especially in the very first top 10 places. Finally Thompson having a bit of a chase for the podium overall, podium position overall. Seems like the times are quite not consistent. A lot of 36 at the moment, when we saw even 44 some time ago. I think either the tires or the drivers are starting to be worn off as Zilio is now very close to the car in front, who is Chris Jones, the effective leader of the race. Effective leader of the race, and the pro class, the class 1, which is because the rookie don't really have a pro and a IM, more like a class 1 and class 2, or even better to use the effective names. This is tier 1 and tier 2, not class 1 and class 2. But for now, Smith goes into the pits. Williams does the same, and same goes for Mihai. But Chris Jones now has to take the defensive route for a couple of drivers. Jillian Kane seems to be getting, as time passes by, closer and closer to the lead of the race. It's Leo going a bit in the grass, so this gives an opportunity for Jones to take some space and for Kane to gain some time, while 6 laps is very close to Thompson ahead of him. 3.6 seconds, have 5 drivers, but now there is a side by side for the BMW for the 4th place, and I think the number 6 will go in 4th place. That was not a class overtake, but Thompson goes in the pits anyway, and 6 laps now has 2 seconds of gap to his closest opponent in class, so tier 2 against tier 2, with Kane in the lead of tier 2, while Jones is in the lead of tier 1. Brown is now being promoted, has been promoted to podium driver for the tier 1, as Bro is having a huge wall contact with Hopkins. The reason for the 78, oh yes, there seems to be some contact between him and the 60, but not really sure from this perspective whose fault was that. But that's definitely the Nissan drive being completely done for the day, with Romagnolo now in 9th place. And Brew letting everyone pass by with a completely demolished car, through which he will have a travel into the pits. Afraid he really had the damage at the very beginning of the lap, so that meant that he had to do the whole lap. Oh, Romagnolo is off too! Oh, that's touching the wall and touching the grass and touching everything. What has happened there? We are after the chicane. Oh, he clipped the curb. He clipped the curb and nearly had himself completely off the walls. Definitely something didn't work, and touched the wall with the very final part of the car, you can call the rear. Meanwhile, Zilio is now in overtake chance with the leader. So 792. Oh, standing in the middle of the track, kind of defensive. But the 96 is very close. This is a very odd race, I would say. It's not the usual actors that are in the very lead of the race. Obviously, I was scrolling by and by mistake I touched the wrong driver. I just wanted to change view And still changed driver and missed the overtake. But Jones has lost the lead of the race. And Zilio is now the leader of the race as Jones goes in P2 and into the pits. So 792. Now using the fact that he lost the position to go and change the tires. Again apologies for having just switched the camera at a very terrible moment. Just a misclick that happened at a very terrible moment. Yeah, he's into the wall for some reasons. Create some frustration there. And I just went wide and over the grass. Sure what I'm... Oh, wait, he cut across the track. Oh, there was a car there, it was VAT? No, it wasn't VAT, it was Williams. Stationary in the middle of the track. It was very close with Mihai. Not really sure if Mihai was cutting the entirety of the track, passing by turn number 3 to number 10, because it seemed like that. And if so, I'm not understanding why. But anyway, 6 up goes into the pits, understanding that Kane was about to become... No, not the... okay, yes, it is Kane. Was becoming possibly a wall, and the difficulty to go over. So he chose to go over the pits. Meanwhile, Zilio is into the pits. Brown is currently the provisional leader of the race. So Alan Brown, 738 Aston Martin, now the provisional leader of the race. In class, I mean. And Chris Jones is into the wall. So the former leader of the race. Now back, and there was a car going some places. And again, it was, guess what? Same exact corner is collecting many drivers. Seems like he just tapped the rear, but definitely lost the position on what was the leader. Now basically gifting Zilio the leader of the race, with Broughton being very close to Romagnolo. Still didn't make a pit. That's the reason why I put out the pit stop table. And Brown is having some yellow flags. Did went to just wide again. Again in turn 15, again completely wide. And he didn't touch the wall. Just a big spook for the British driver that now goes into the pits. So as I was saying, this effectively gives and gifts the lead to Zilio, as his only opponent, well, his main opponent was Jones, that nearly, well, he got collected also onto the wall. And Woodward goes into the pits, so this leaves 3 drivers. The freedom of not being in the pits already. Car completely destroyed here for Blake. That's completely demolished the car. Seems like he just went over the grass and then the car became a bit of a sandwich. In fact, he's already in the pits. Meanwhile, Chris Jones overtakes Brown for the at least 6th place. Brown is 3rd in class for just a couple of meters. He didn't maintain the lead position over the 792 Honda. But never mind what I said, because apparently now the Aston Martin is in front of the Honda that went wide. And now Alan Brown is in front of Jones that decides to utilize another racing line. But still he waits for his opponent, and this means that Brown has a couple of tens of meters to play with, and to not have Jones attacking his position. Gonzalez is currently in 12th place only, and I think will stay 12th, considering the two drivers in front are Kane and Claessens that were already in front of him. Kane and Claessens that are effectively back fighting for the lead of the race at this point, considering how many contact and loss of control we had. Alright, 666, the 77. Speaking of Gonzalez, obviously the same instant I said it, he made an overtake. Very good for the Spanish champion of the rookies. And meanwhile, it's BMW and Jones having a yellow flag. Oh, I think this is a big one. Yeah, he lost completely the outside of his car. Tried to brake on time. Did he made it? Yes, he made it at least. Just touching a bit the wall. But he is now behind Thompson and Murray. So in 9th place and the 5th in class. With a McLaren, a Mercedes that is there, sitting clearly in the wrong direction. And there is a reason also for the 28 being completely off track. Oh, he completely demolished the 155 Paolo Hungary. For not really sure which reason, considering that the car there wasn't exactly invisible. But Zilio effectively is the leader of the race, with Oulton in P2, 6 ups in P3, and Claessens in P4, with Kane in 5, and Brown in 6th place. Thompson, then Murray, then Jones, then Smith.
The window is now closed.
As the pit window is now closed. And I think also this thing here has to go away in favor of another table. But I want to stay back on Claessens that has lost a couple of seconds on Broughton. He's now sitting in 2nd place. As you can see there, it's Brown having a bit of a contact fight with the BMW now behind him. Bit of contact side by side. 738 and 77 having a bit of a fight on and off track for a moment with Brown that made the overtake on the grass. That was a very good move to be seen from outside. And this puts Brown in 5th overall, but 2nd in class remains. And Claessens, I think your 2nd rookie champion that is going to be created tonight. As Woodward shows yellow flag again, same corner as always. It's always 15. He goes on the inside curb, jumps the car. He overcorrects it and goes over the wall, on the wall. Now Kane and Thompson are having a bit of a fight. thank you, Windows Defender, for doing what you are doing. And Thompson effectively managed to get the position done on Kane. That's overall, not in class. But Thompson is now closer to Brown and could afford a possible chase and then overtake on the British driver. As Broughton made a mistake there. That's a clear mistake, and it's 2 positions being lost, including the lead of his own class. As now 6 ups is the leader of tier 2, and it's again 15. It's not really news anymore. He went on the gravel, he lost 1, he lost 2 positions, and now 6 ups is the leader of the tier 2 rookies, with Claessens being in P2, and Broughton now in P3. 1 second, 0.2 away from Claessens. The fastest lap holder went from the lead of the race to not even in the podium anymore. This is overall. While Kane here is still fighting for a position. Four times away from Thompson. I wonder how this situation here will evolve, because Thompson seems to be quicker than Kane, but not quicker than Brown, which is effectively what he is aiming for, considering that he is battling for class position. That will be the 2nd place in class. While Chris Jones, you are seeing, is a bit managed to gain back some time, as he's 4 times away from Mari. Luckily, we are not playing Omori, otherwise there will be some trouble in fighting Mari. But anyway, for Jones, this is not the case, lucky. And it's the 8th place that we are talking about. As Abu said, is having a bit of a grass trip. The 46 car is still trying the best to defend, as Burns is also showing yellow flags just after setting his personal best. But maybe Chris Jones has the chance this time, stays behind. For now he studies his opponent and stands where is possible, where an overtake is possible. And for now it seems like the answer is not here. It's okay, now 5 times, 7 times, 1 second away from Thompson. And that was... Oh, this was Brown going completely offside and over the wall. Seems like he just went over the grass. Tried to stay out of the way and went completely over the wall and then into the pits. It was a very odd situation there. I just think he overcorrected too much. And he found himself over the wall. And effectively it's race over for the British driver. That was in a very good position. Meanwhile, as the overtake happens here, still some contact. It's the 46 having some yellow flags. For now. Oh, still some contact. So major contact. The 45 is now over the wall with the 216 gaining the position. But I want to see back what happened to the 46. And I don't think I will, because it showed me the 46 was having some trouble. Except it was happening in the very moment it didn't have to happen. So now Lokamar is in 10th place overall. And having some clear damage on the front of the car. I think he went wide in turn 1 because that's where the overtake with the other two drivers happened. But I want to see back this one here. You can see the 46 that was on the wall on the right side of the track. Can I maybe see back like this? It's of a long shot, but I managed to take it. And yes, that's the reason he went off in turn 1 and then collected himself over the wall. On the wall, and with 11 to go, I don't think he will go for jump in the pits to repair the car. Jones was very close to making contact with the car. He was going left and right on the track. So still 7th place that can be maintained. Again, this is still behind. I think I can go for to stay for a moment here and see the battle. The only one that is on track currently. Also, Broughton seems like to be adding himself to the battle. This is a nice moment to be silent for a little bit and go for a lap with the current trio that starts now. So this was a lap of Oulton Park with Rick Kane, currently 2nd position championship in tier 2. As the leader is currently in 3rd, and I think he will maintain the lead of his own class, this in the driver championship. For now, with 10 to go, it's going to be quite a possibly a bit more calmer line of event compared to the very beginning where everything was happening everywhere. For now, Broughton is effectively battling only with Kane, but there is a tier 1 in the middle, a tier 1 driver in the middle that is kinda ruining everything. Meanwhile, Mari is not really having a good time there with damage in front of the car. But still his closest opponents are (16 or 26 seconds away, with Gonzalez in front and Busedi behind, so he's not really having many troubles to maintain what he has currently. It's again a 46. He's some trouble, but nothing that ruins his plans of completing the race in 10th overall and in 5th in class, which is still a very good... Oh, that was Kane! That was Kane going over the wall. It seems like he just lost the car on the very end and went completely destroying the car and effectively not being in the lobby anymore. And same goes for Mari, that finds himself now in the pits and not in the lobby anymore. So the only two drivers that I mentioned pretty exploded for different reasons. And it kind of put me in a bit of an odd situation. Julian Smith goes a bit slow there, not really sure why. Claessens, fastest lap holder now. 1:34.1 has been the lap being set by the Dutch driver and the champion in tier 2. I think he also wants to win in class at least. Even if with this pace he could also gain enough time to jump for the lead overall. You can see the BMW in front of him is the P2 driver and 2.8 in front. It is the leader of the whole race. The race leader. But now Claessens is very close to the art car in front of him, with all those colors, quite easy to be seen on track. I think Claessens has the clear chance to make it. He gained a whole second on both drivers in the last round. And it's possible that he made another 1.2 on 6 laps and just 2 times on Zilio. So it's getting a bit more difficult to get on the lead of the race, but he just needs the car in front of him to go away from his eyesight. As I repeat every time, it's mostly for in-class position. Six up, still in front. Now there is the real difficulty of this track, managing to have an overtake somewhere and in safety. So throwing away your opponent is not really a viable choice, even if, trust me, it's the one you want to go for 100% of time. Just say maybe no. Maybe the driver on the other side may be a bit angry about this. Quite the fact that we had some very late auto delete on track. That's also very important. So now we are currently running with 25 on track, and it's also the final round of the series. So after this one is just going to be Monza. It's just going to be the one-off Silverstone, Bathurst, until the start back of the season. There is also the British GT, but it happens on Tuesday, which unfortunately means that I can't race on those rounds. Otherwise I would have very much liked to be part of said rounds, especially in the odd ones. This is one of the venue I always wanted to race as a GT4 to experience the pain. And anyway, it's been a very nice season. I'm starting already with the goodbyes until the next time, because it's going to be, I really think, because I want to do it on the last lap. Okay, yes, it's official. It's going to be the last lap. So white flag, sponsored by GUMH, with Alex Zilio. So it's been a very nice championship. I loved every single moment. We saw plenty of action, plenty of overtakes, plenty of moments, a lot of debates whether or not some moves were okay or not. Lots of drivers abandoning the series, unfortunately, but many joining also mid-race, mid-championship. I think this season has been the most eventful for me in terms of not in terms of having troubles making it. But anyway, I said to be here every single round, and it's been a very nice one. As always, the rookie are the one you least expect from, and the one that gives you the most. As always, everything has to go and has to end, and Zilio is going to end it once and for all in this very track that I very much hate. But anyway, it's going to be Alex Zilio that wins round number 7, last round of the season, while 6 laps does for tier 2, with Claessens being the champion of the tier 2 rookie season, with Broughton coming in 3rd place, Thompson in P2, Jones after an incredible pole unfortunately just has to stick with P3 in the end. But here he comes. Here comes the very champion of the tier 1. So last time in the rookies for him, and it's going to be Spanish, because the championship is going to be for the 216 Aston Martin, driven by Javier Gonzalez, with Smith now coming in P7 overall, and completes the IM podium, with Apostel just behind, being followed by Woodward. Is the last moments of the championship before it explodes in a 1,000 pieces. And it's going to be first the number 19 Porsche, having had an numerous amount of problems all the championship. Then Woodward, and then Burns is the effective last car on track that will complete the championship. And wrap it up for all of them, with then Hopkins, Romagnolo, Watt, Hungary, Stewart, London, Bro, De Bortoli, Williams, Chiaramonte, Roberts, Mihai, Kane, Mari, Gedman e Vapenar completes the race with Brown, Blake, Cameron, Hill, Lopez, GG, and I think here miss a couple of drivers that have gone out of the race. Oh, no, it was Kane, never mind. So this was the championship. This was the GUMH rookie season. I think someone was doing burnout, not really sure who. But anyway, this was the championship. This was the season. Obviously, there will be another one coming in the next months. But for tonight, it's it. Be sure to check here tomorrow night because it's going to be the effective final race of every championship. And it's going to be again in Oulton Park with the pros, with the Pulsing Gear GT3. But anyway, for tonight, that's it, and it's a wrap up with the two championship winner, Claessens and Gonzalez. But from my side, I'm going to be here tomorrow. Be sure to check out how the championship will end even there. But anyway, for tonight, that's it. Good evening, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you all tomorrow. And if you are just looking for the rookie, I will see you next championship. Bye!